everyone, I'm Rich Miller, the founder and editor of Data Center Frontier. And today I'm talking with Denis Blouin from Belden about building support of the colocation industry. So Denis, is the current state of colocation now primarily US based? Can you focus on what you're seeing with US companies?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, okay. Well, our view of the colocation market right now is a very good one, very bullish one. Okay, we see growth. We see our colocation client investing, growing, investing in both existing facility. That might be where the biggest challenge reside, upping older sites in terms of their capacity to meet their evolving client need. And we also see a lot of investment, a lot of project related to a new building, new campuses, as I think the shift from, for mid-sized company and large size, where for any size company, okay, the shift from on-prem data center to giving the operation of the building and of the facility to people that are expert in that field, colocation owners. We see that change, we see that reality, and we think it's going to continue for years to come.
Are there some specific challenges that you can highlight from what you've seen from your experience with customers? Are there things that are, really like number one, number two on their priority list to get done?
Well, I think the need for speed, the need for bandwidth is evolving. And yeah, there's cool stuff, AI and, higher compute. But this reality of most of their client, existing client, new client, asking for more in terms of, yeah, I used to have a 10 gig link going to my cage. I want this. I need this to be upgraded to 40 gig link. 100 gig link. And this have major implication on the fiber backbone that support this internal network within the colocation facility. So what we at Belden see is a need for many of the colocation owner to upgrade their switch gear, and with that, they need to upgrade also their fiber backbone. All right, and anyone who thinks, higher speed, higher capacity networking link, we're thinking here of 40 gig, 100 gig, 200 gig, 400 gig link. And these are cases where we're looking now at multi-lane optics, okay, parallel lane optics, SR4 optics. And this increased the complexity of the fiber backbone, I would say greatly. It adds some complexity because a backbone that was designed around, a simple duplex LC transmission line now is going to be a backbone based on, MPO, MTP connectors, where the polarity notion, the polarity within the fiber network is going to be a factor that needs to be taken care of, to be looked at in details, okay? And the end result there is to allow this site to be very nimble, very effective in being able to commission drops, high bandwidth drops to their client cages within the colocation floor, okay?
You're basically an equipment and infrastructure provider. What is Belden doing to really help their customers?
Absolutely. Okay. So David, now there's notion of when you think of a high capacity switch of the active gear company. Okay. If I'm going to deliver a 400 gig QSFP port, all right, many times this capacity is going to be split in sub, let's say 100 gig output to a fiber cross connect. So the component that allows these high bandwidth channel to be broken down, we're talking here of stuff like SR4 cassettes, SR4 optics, fiber assemblies that goes from MPO to LC duplex. Okay, so quite complex fiber assemblies. Notion of optimizer cassette, which allow these systems now that mainly run on base 8 optics, okay, to use base 12 trunk between, let's say, the meet me room and the data hall, which allows us to use all of the fiber into a trunk. Are you with me? Okay. Because if I'm going to use a base 8 and my trunk cable are 24 strand, 48 strand, 96 strand, 144 strand, multiple of 12, it means that if you don't use optimizer cassette, you're going to pretty much 30% of your backbone is going to be dark. Okay, the fiber are not going to be utilized. Okay, so we've got ways to, at the same time, allow for the complete fiber plant to be led. All right, and for this fiber system made of optical distribution frame on one side, dense fiber cross connect, okay, allowing connection between meet me room and client to be extremely dense, but at the same time to be very functional and allow for ease of mac and change. Being nimble in deploying these new services to our client in a very efficient and very quick way. Okay, and David, the last comment I want to make here. All right, what we also see is a need for our colocation client who many times will run multiple sites. Okay. In the past, we've seen, like, with simpler optics and simpler networks, every facility making their own calls on, how do I want to manage my network and build my network, where now we see a drive for standardization across multiple sites from our colo client. And the goal here is again for them to ensure that they have the component handy. They have access to these components quickly, okay? So they can turn around new services and they can commission new client coming into their facility in an effective way, not having to wait, a month and a half, 2 months to get the fiber trunk they need to link their client to the building network, for example, okay?
So are you able to deliver then for colocation companies on a per data center solution? Or can you do an upgrade as a new client comes in and say, we want this to that cage and we want to split it? Or do you just deliver to the entire data center?
It's both. It's absolutely both. Okay. So the network within the data center, and then when you hit the cage, the client cage, absolutely within that cage is also a smaller network. For example, okay, we're starting now to see demand for something called OM5 fiber. Okay, so the notion of instead of going multi-lane optics, what about using short wavelength division multiplexing? Okay, notion that came to carrier grade, single mode fiber now is applicable to OM5. So the notion of being able to deliver multiple channel over the same pair of fiber, okay? So we're starting to see demand for OM5. We are seeing more client building single mode backbone, okay? Trying to future-proof their network, wanted to make sure that what they're building now is going to be still relevant in 5 to 10 years, and they're going to be able to cope with the next generation of the great switches that are active OEM counterpart are working on. Okay, yeah.
So it sounds like you're saying basically that the main issue for colocation providers at this point is the increased demand for bandwidth.
In total agreement, yes.
So from your perspective then, your goal here is to provide support for any fiber that they're going to install and any method of utilizing that bandwidth?
Yeah. And where a company like Belden comes in, okay, is the fact that not only we deal with co-location customers, but we build complex network for hospital, for high-rise building, for campuses, for gaming floor. Okay, we see a lot of different scenarios when come network and network options. Again, with the complexity of these network, with the parallel optic, the polarity, that means also more fiber, denser fiber array, taking more room in a meet-me room. So being able to mount against a wall a very compact fiber cross-connect. So our background allow us, I think, to act as partners and consultant to these co-location owner. And our goal is not to tell them what to do, but our goal is to use our experience, our vast infrastructure networking experience, and put that at our client service in being able to evaluate various options for them. Okay, should we go single mode? Should we go OM5? How are we going to handle polarity? Do we want to use fiber breakout from your MPO, or are we going to use optimizer SR4 cassette? These are all options we are accustomed to. And I would say most of our clients, okay, have not dug in these subject as deep as we do on a very regular basis. Okay.
Would it be safe to say that your clients come to you basically looking for a complete end-to-end solution, or to solve a point problem, just depending on what they need?
Yeah, and the answer is both of that. Okay, and our relation with the co-location client is really one right now where, again, with goal to standardize across multiple facility, looking at the bigger pictures, how can we make sure that they are going to be able to service their client with these more complex components in a quick, efficient, very nimble way, okay? So absolutely, our goal here is to look at a complete solution, a complete fiber backbone solution, both at the facility level and at the cage level or at the data hall level. If it's a large client, occupying a complete data hall of a larger co-location building. Okay.
Would you say that your flexibility and experience, as well as the equipment, can give the co-location provider an advantage in terms of their time to market or the ability to deliver solutions to their customers?
Yep. And I think we would agree that speed to market, speed to commission a new client, speed to upgrade service to an existing client is I think is a great way for a co-location owner to differentiate themselves from their competitors. Okay, and Belden, we are there to help them do that. Okay, absolutely there to help them do that. Yep.
Would it be safe to say that customers are coming to you for the breadth of your offerings and how that allows them to expand the breadth of their offerings to their customers?
Totally, I agree with that. Okay, again, their need to up their offer to their client base. Some of them wanted also to be able to reach out to maybe a type of client, a type of vertical they have not been very active in. Mm-hmm. And there might be different requirement for these type. Might it be like a requirement very specific, for example, latency, all right? Not only bandwidth, but latency in communication, uptime, these type of notion, better uptime, being able to guarantee a better uptime because we're going to create more redundancy in the fiber network, for example, okay? With that comes a lot of other things, redundancy in power supply and all of that, but redundancy in networking access is also very important. So we're looking here at Belden, a very wide breadth of product from complete fiber end-to-end solution. So what I'm talking about here is both the cable themselves, okay, might it be now a discrete fiber or ribbon fiber cable. Now with increase in fiber count, it's clear that ribbon cable allowing for mass fusion splicing and much quicker commissioning of the backbone, that's an important component of a fiber backbone to have access to ribbon fiber, okay? But there's also all of the other component, the patch panel, the connection, the large ODF, or we call them main fiber frame, MFF, or ODF, optical distribution frame, where is the place where we're going to create the link either between the outside world, the outside provider the outside provider and within and the meet me room, so the different meet me room within the colocation site, and then being able to create interconnect to the data hall or to zone within a data hall or to zone within a large customer cage. So Belden plays in all of these places. We've got the component to build this complete fiber backbone solution.
Denny, thank you for this brief introduction to Belden and what you can do for your customers. It's been great talking to you.
Okay, thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you. Bye-bye.
I'm Rich Miller, the editor and founder of Data Center Frontier, signing off. Thanks for listening.